I promised you when this show began that I would be labeled as a radical by some people. And I know that some people think, oh, I can't believe he's talking about this. Listen, we're in danger as a country, okay? And somebody, and there, thank God there's more than me, but we have to connect the dots from our own beloved stories during the revolution, the ethics of the revolution, the ethics of the use of force, the ethics of trying people as criminals for deeds that they committed that were legal at the time, the Bible, all the biblical ethics involving these things, the times in the scriptures where war happened, where God said, go and kill these people, all this stuff. We have to discuss it. We have to, people, okay? It's our right and it's our duty. Now, as I mentioned to you, we tried people at Nuremberg for crimes that they committed that were legal, or they were under the color of law in their own country at the time that those acts were committed. And the acts were committed by people that were in power, elected democratically, okay? One of the crimes that we tried people for in Nuremberg, this is a forgotten fact of history, but it's true nonetheless. We tried people for abortion. Yeah. The Allied victors tried people at the court in Nuremberg for abortion. It was committed under the color of law. And we said no. The concept of the Allies when they won, here was the dilemma that they were in. I'll explain it to you. The dilemma was this: do individual human rights supersede the right of a state, a sovereign state, to do what it wants internally? Most of foreign policy for hundreds of years, since the Treaty of Westphalia, most foreign policy has been to allow nations to do what they want internally. We won't mess with you. When you spill out of your borders and do things, that's when we are going to hold you accountable and make war against you. But that has been changing in recent years because of what happened, say, in Rwanda, when everyone stood by, did nothing. And so you start to see people intervening, different nations intervening into the internal affairs of other nations when human life is at stake. And this problem, this ethical conundrum and political conundrum surfaced at Nuremberg after the war because they said, well, look, our whole foreign policy is based on the fact that nations can do what they want, and we only intervene when they're going to try and harm us. And then they said, no, we cannot have a world in which a tyrant can, under the color of law, oppress and kill people. Those human beings have rights before their maker that the international community must be called upon to enforce, okay? So here we are in America today, 2015. How many millions of babies have been murdered? It's mind-boggling. How much blood is crying from the ground right now? It's mind-boggling. And these babies have been brutally murdered under the color of law, just like Jews and others were being murdered and imprisoned in Nazi Germany, for which we tried them. Will the day come? Will the day come? Should the day come? Never mind will it, should it come? When abortionists are put on trial using the legal principles of Nuremberg, the Nuremberg trials, the trials after World War II, trials in which we participated with prosecutors, with judges. Will there come a day when abortionists are tried under the principles of Nuremberg? Will there come a day when some of our elected officials are tried? Will there come a day when some of our judges are tried as criminals for their acts of violence and murder? I don't know if it'll happen. Should it happen? I have been a leader in the pro-life movement for 30 years, and sadly we have not prevailed in our goal to make it a criminal act to kill an unborn baby. There's reasons why we have failed. I wrote this book, A Humble Plea, to Catholic bishops, to evangelical clergy, and to lay people, explaining where we went wrong and what we have to do to prevail. We've made this available as a PDF online for free. I encourage you to go and download your own copy. Why does a nice guy like me keep getting thrown in jail? I have been arrested almost 50 times and spent over a year of my life locked up in various prison facilities. And I wrote a book, many books. In fact, one of them is called, Why Does a Nice Guy Like Me Keep Getting Thrown in Jail? It's a theological work, answering those who say that the church should not be involved in politics or that we should retreat. I encourage you to get it. In fact, get one and give it to your pastor.